unfortunately, after doing very, very well, they did lose 2 games in a row and did have to go home without winning it. But the team advancing is from Fargo, North Dakota also, which was the host city. And that takes place on the 15th. It starts down in Shelby, North Carolina. And that pretty much takes care of the baseball program for the Department of Iowa for the rest of the year, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you. Scouts, Andy.
That's now, excuse me, Commander, that's now Jim Spielman.
And is Jim here?
No, he's
Well, then
not.
you're on the hook.
That's all right. Has he talked to you about having anybody for omelets? Okay, then I'll get a hold of Courtney and see that somebody's here for the omelets this Sunday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep, will
I
do.
was gonna ask you that after the,
You know, I don't, Jim works for the railroad, sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Last meeting, he said he wasn't gonna be here, and I haven't heard anything from him yet for this one, so I'll make sure you get somebody here.
Perfect. Sal.
I can get loud too, but they gave the financial report. They had a little over $6,000. The membership is still sitting at 148. They served 68 at their Tuesday night dinner with their pork chop dinner. In August, this next time they'll be having hot rights, hot made rights, hamburger gravy over mashed toast, I think, not mashed potatoes. September 8th will be starting their all-you-can-eat breakfast. They donated $500 to the Legacy Ride and $2,000 to Rita Cobb, with a cop of that quota.
Legion Riders.
Well, as was mentioned, Legacy runs about upon us. There are 4 of us from the post going, past Commander Damastis, Cheryl King, and we have a new SAL member who was from Washington that just joined us, Rich Krull. So the 4 of us will ride on Thursday. 3 of us will ride together on Thursday to Independence, Missouri, and then on Sunday we'll start down for New Orleans. It's always an interesting time. It's a very tight convoy, so it takes an awful lot of attention to do well in it. Currently, the SAL gave us $500. The auxiliary has given us $500. There's $1,000 that the chapter is donating. And for those of you who may know Peter Tian, we have a check that was handed off to me that's a donation for the Legacy Run as well. Currently, in our checking account, we have $7,064.70. As I mentioned, there's 1 new SAL member. And from the district Legacy Run, that Jason put together pretty much on himself and Lori and just a couple others, we have 3 more members coming. 1 for the Legion, 1 for the Auxiliary, and 1 for the SAL. They made $2,019.09 profit on that thing. So for its first time, that's an amazing thing. And my heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for all of your efforts to make that thing happen. Legacy Run's always a fun time. Then we'll come back from New Orleans and should be back here in just a couple days after that. We don't stay down for the convention, any of those of us that are going this time. Questions about anything? Thank you very much.
Is there a motion to accept the reports and file them? Second.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There be 5. Unfinished business or old business? Any unfinished business or old business? The only couple things I've got for old business, those of y'all that were tracking, I think last time, the city wanted to do some parking here in the Legion parking lot. They initially wanted to own the parking lot and didn't want to give us anything for us renting them the land. We told them that we were less than enthused about that as a deal for us. After we expressed that and let it sit for a couple months, the city re-engaged. met with the city manager last week, and here's a proposal that the executive board actually has approved to sign. I want to make sure the membership also approves us to sign this. It'll be expanded parking where the city will pay for and add 14 parking spots to our lot. We will own that lot and all those 14 spots. The only arrangement we have to have is designate 5 of those spots for use for the park. So 5 of those spots, the folks can use it for the park. If the park's not being used, like after our dark and that kind of thing, we can use those spots as well. If someone's coming to use the park and they come onto our land and they get injured, the city will cover it. So the city will indemnify us for any damage that anybody gets, any problems that are there. The city will put up signage for all of that, and the city will also have cameras in the park that will also cover our parking lot. So we'll end up having security cameras running on that'll cover our parking lot as well. And we'll sign up with the city of Marion for part of their parking. I can't remember what the program's called, but it's a parking program that they use for excess parking downtown. So a business has got a parking lot downtown, we'll make it available in off hours for the people to use to go to restaurants and that kind of stuff. And since we don't really have set off hours, this is the arrangement that they came up. So they're going to add, about 14 spots, and they estimate the value of those spots is about $15,000 a spot. So I think it's a good deal for the Legion. I think it meets our needs. We'll still have to pay our own snow bill, but I think it's all in all a good deal for us. Is there a motion to approve me to sign that?
So moved.
Any further discussion? Yes.
Where are the new parking spots going to be?
If you look at our parking lot back there, there's a kind of a notch that goes in. What's going to happen is those 14 spots will go in that notch and we'll just fill it out and square the parking lot off.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It seems to me like in earlier discussions there was talk about snow removal or maintenance.
Yeah, and the issue with snow removal and maintenance was if they wanted to own the lot, they have to clear their own snow, and they're leasing the land from us to put a parking structure on top of it. I was not going to allow them to build a parking structure without renting it from us and putting it in the lease, because otherwise it would be an unlawful taking under the Constitution as well as under Iowa law, and I was not going to allow them to do that to us. So I was requiring them, if they were going to keep that parking lot and own it, they were going to have to rent the land and clear the easement to do it, and I was going to let them do that in kind by clearing the snow, which is about $3,000 a year or so. Now that they're actually giving this to us, we don't have the concern that as much. We'll still be clearing the snow. We're going to be doing the ice mitigation, but it's still going to be if someone comes on Legion land to go to that park, the city's going to cover the liability piece for it. So I thought that was a good offset.
Security cameras.
Correct. The security cameras will also be a huge boon for if somebody does a slip and fall, we can check the cameras and see what's going on.
Do we have access to the camera?
See?
Will we have access here to?
But we'll have to ask the city to access them, because the city will have that centralized camera feed.
Did you also mention that the cameras are going to be on the garage as well as the parking lot?
Yeah, it's gonna cover our whole back lot. Yes, sir.
When will this be done?
They're trying to get into construction company now. They've got Renderneck downtown working on the lots now, and I think they've got the same contract that they want to do for here. So it should be this summer. They want to get the caboose out here, get the park done. They're of course going to have to pour the concrete from their side as opposed to ours, because we can't have concrete trucks on our parking lot because it'll break them up. And then they want to have it so they can actually have their Christmas in the park, which is, they used to use the caboose for kind of Santa Claus and Christmas in the park. They want to do that out here. And so we're going to work with them to actually do it in concert with us, so then we can, set up to sell coffee and hot chocolate and all that kind of stuff and cider to the kids that come out. So we can actually use that as a fundraiser for us when they're doing their Christmas program. So, any other questions or comments?
Commander?
Yes, sir.
I think, maybe I missed, but I think you had mentioned that they are going to provide a walkway from the parking lot over to the trail for people that may be without having to go through the grass, they'll have an actual walkway in there.
Correct, from the 5 dedicated spots, and we get to designate where those spots are. From those 5 spots, they will have a dedicated walkway to actually go and access the park, so somebody can park back there, take their bike off of the vehicle, and then ride themselves right to the trail. Any other questions or comments? All right, to call the question, is there, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. This one I don't think you have to approve, but I wanted to let everyone know that the city of Marion or the school district of Marion has approached us about being an alternate site for emergency services in case there's a problem with 2 of the schools. That they need to evacuate the schools, that they wanted a site that they could go to with, big parking lot, area they could use to help secure the kids. So we're going to sign the agreement with the Marion Independent School District for 2 of their schools to the Longfellow Elementary and Francis Marion Intermediate School. We'll use this as an emergency evacuation site. And we'll have keys through the fire department, and each superintendent, each administrator at each of those schools will also have a key to access to use this. And I think Danny's going to help us told me he was going to help me get all the keys anyway. So, any questions about that or comments?
The executive board approved that, right?
Correct. They did. Since it's a no-cost thing, I didn't think I needed to have the membership approve that. Any other, we can always cover these as unfinished old business. Is there a newsletter editor back there? Not your wife, you. You can fill in.
I guess I can fill in, yeah.
Come on.
Close enough.
We got a number of awards. I think we actually took pictures of all of them for the newsletter at the district convention. One of them was for the best electronic newsletter in the state in our category. So the Department of Media contest we won got a plaque awarded to us. You can actually take this home and show it to Cindy if you want.
Okay.
So this is the electronic newsletter. This is the electronic newsletter plaque that we got at district convention. Great work. Yeah, we need to find a place to hang these plaques up as well, and probably frame these. Children and youth. We actually have 2 Children and Youth Awards. Category 4 overall Children and Youth Post of 2024, and then the most outstanding overall Children and Youth Post of 2024. Children and Youth, come on. You're very shy.
And Jerry.
And we'll get these framed and hung up as well. Even though you gave up on the Boy Scouts.
I want to hold that against him.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
That's
Boy
right.
Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Scouts.
And we also got the Frank Lewis Glick Post Trophy, which really is just a piece of paper, but it's kind of interesting. Award for posts with populations of 15,000 to 50,000 as being the outstanding post in that population group. And then we got a runner-up for the Commander's membership trophy for 2024, and that's kind of a nice big plaque also to hang on the wall. So you might need a bigger hook for this one. So well done for the post, well done for the leadership. It was a great year. I was really happy to be able to represent the post and accept these awards on your behalf. Any new business? Last call for new business. Seeing no new business. Good of the Legion and correspondence. Yes, sir.
If I could, real quick. And
You want to use your big boy voice?
Kyle, you big boy voice. And with the department awards, those come out of the adjutant and our
Consolidated Post Report.
CPR.
Yep.
I had a senior moment. But because of what you turn in and what he fills out and sends in, that's why we always keep pushing. Send them what you do. That's where those awards come from. Since 2012, Roger and I were at a conference in Washington, D.C., and started the Vietnam commemorative medal ceremonies. That's going for one more year. Veterans Day 2025, that is over. Is why I'm doing that is about every year I take a few minutes and go, do we have anybody who served during the Vietnam War, which is from the dates are, let me get to the proper one, November of 55 through May 15 of 1975, irregardless of where you were. If you served during that time period, you are eligible for one of the Vietnam War commemoration pins. If you have not received one, I've got them with me, but we've got one more year, at which point that will close. So if everybody is up to date on that, that's all I got, Commander. Thank you.
All right, we've got a thank you card from Cameron Kirk, who's one of our scholarship award winners. She says, "Thank you sincerely for selecting me as the recipient of the Educational Trust Scholarship. It truly is an honor and is one that I will never take for granted. This incredibly generous scholarship will assist me in funding my college education beginning this fall at Iowa State. I could not be more excited to work diligently toward my goal of becoming a physical therapist with hopes of having an impact on individuals through my profession." So the scholarship money will work. Anything else for the good of the Legion or correspondence? Yes, Mr. Hogan.
You heard Ron talk about membership. These numbers I just got yesterday from district. They have us down, the department has us down for 1,062 in 2024. And the usual practice for the last several years has been to increase that by 1 and call it your goal. This year they jumped to 10. So our goal this year is 1,072. And as you heard, we're almost halfway there. The district had 1,909 in 2024. The goal for this year is 1,952. They have about 25% or more paid already. I was looking at some of the memberships, what they're charging. Most are at $50. All of Clinton County is at $45. The highest is Coggan with $60. And in Wyoming, for some reason, it's charged $47. So just a few notes on that. We have fall conference coming up October 5th. It'll be in Cedar Rapids at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum on the First Avenue side, not Second Avenue, but First Avenue side. Auxiliary and Legion will both be meeting in that building on separate floors, and we'll be eating there as well. They tell me prices have gone up, so the meal will cost about $18. You need to register in advance. They should be having a call to conference coming out real soon, where to send your reservations. Host 727 Cedar Rapids is hosting this, and some of us are helping them with it. So, but what they're talking about now is RSVPing by September 9th. I don't think there's gonna be any Friday night social thing, so that's all I've got on that right now. And I think, oh, wait a minute, second district, new budget, $12,105 for this year. That's actually down from this past year's $12,455. Our district dues to the district is only $1 per member. For the second district, we are the cheapest of the 9 districts in Iowa. And we try to hold that down. We've got some CDs, and if we happen to go over the budget for some reason with prices going up, we've got some money to cover it. But we hope that doesn't happen because, you know, this stuff runs out after a while. On the bad side, department is reporting an $80,000 shortfall for this past year. So hopefully that will turn around. Outside of that, I think that's all I have to try to bring you up to date on, let you know what's going on in the district and elsewhere. Any questions? I did a good job. Thank you.
Kept it short.
Anything else for the good of the Legion or correspondence? Yes, sir.
How many of you have read the Legion magazine that comes out this last month? When you get home, read it. Fantastic article. World War I, they're now getting a monument for that. And it's basically a series of statues showing a man leaving for war to his daughter and wife through the battles, and then at the end with him coming back home. But read it, it's well worth your time.
Anything else for the good of the Legion? Apparently not. I think we have a raffle to do.
Everybody in it that wants to be? Want me to draw, Mike?
No. I don't want to walk that far.
Draw your numbers.
595.
$5.95?
Yes.
595.
Well, come get it. He wants me to walk over there? It would have sucked if I pulled mine though. Just.
Hello there, buddy old pal.
Okay, is there any other further business to come before this meeting? If not, the chaplain will lead us in prayer. All rise and recover.
Gracious God, as we go our separate ways, keep us mindful that we are still together in spirit and in purpose. Though we may differ among ourselves, help us to demonstrate our unity about that which is most important to our American Legion. To this end, help us to commit our energies and talents. Dismiss us now with your blessing. Amen.
Cover. Till we meet again, let us remember that our obligation to the country can be fulfilled only by the faithful performance of all duties of citizenship. Let service to the community, state, and nation be ever the main objective of the American Legion and its members. Let us be ever watchful to honor our country, our organization, and ourselves, and that nothing shall swerve us from the path of justice, freedom, and democracy. The Color Guard will now retrieve the POW, MIA, missing comrade flags. The Color Guard will now retrieve the colors. and salute. Two. I now declare this meeting of Marion Post 298, the American Legion, Department of Iowa, adjourned.